Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Gaiden. I'm Steven,
I'm Sawhill.
and today we are going to talk about Fire Force, we're going to talk about Vigilante, and we're going to talk about the newest one, Witch Watch.
Yes, and we might talk about the My Hero movie as well if we have time.
Yeah, I like to call Witch Watch Why Watch. No, I'm kidding.
I'm
Kidding. I just wanted to say it. She's why I clued in. I needed to say it. Oh, yeah.
That took me a second. Where'd that come from?
Okay, so real quick, before we dive into that, what kind of anime have you been watching throughout the week? Aside from the ones we're watching that we'll get into.
Yeah, honestly, just that and the My Hero movie I watched earlier this week. I'm slacking these days, I feel like.
Man, I don't know what it's been. Somehow I have actually more time to watch anime than ever. So for those of you who don't see all of our episodes, I recently had my first child with my wife, and I'm working like crazy. I'm working at home like crazy, but regardless of that, there tends to be, anytime there is a moment to sit, it's a lot of like sleepless nights where you kind of just throw something on the TV, and you're sitting there and you're like crying back at the baby.
It's hard to focus, too.
Well, I figure if I'm in a room and, the baby's crying, my wife is crying, I might as well start too. So I just kind of look at her and go,
All tired, and these tears start dropping too.
But yeah, so I ended up watching a lot. I actually caught up on the My Hero anime because I read the manga, but it was way behind. I'm probably
Oh, really?
3 seasons behind on the anime. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And then I caught up on the movies after we had talked about it. I mean, what was it? There was like the two middle movies were kind of rough. Especially there was one. What was it? There was the one was like the human people that are trying to like kill everyone who has a quirk. That one was rough, man.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to like
World Mission or something like that.
World Hero Mission.
Yeah, something like that. That one was really rough. But and then there was the one where they were on the island, and Class 1A was running its own thing, and you had you had Nine, the guy who was kind of like all for one, but only for 9 powers. That one, I don't think I think I fell asleep at the end of the fight, like before that actual final fight.
I don't think
I don't know, just none of them were really holding my interest. The animation in the last one with Dark Knight was really sick, though.
Are we getting right into that then, maybe?
Yeah, let's just jump into it.
But first, our snack of the day.
A cereal bar.
You should have a...
I would want an cereal. This like a proper sentence. Snack of the day? Yeah, I mean, the snack of the week.
Weekly snack.
Let's leave it up to you guys. What do you guys think we should call this, Sarah?
So this flavor is what?
Red bean paste or something. Red bean milk.
Red bean milk.
Red bean milk flavor. Cereal bar. I like the package. Just so you guys know, there's an egg one that we'll be doing later. I'm not sure how I'll feel about that.
And the nut one, mixed nut or something like that. I think that's the one I'm looking forward to eat. Look boring.
It looks really dry. It's good?
Well,
like it looks so dry.
It's not as dry as you might think, but
it kind of looks like bloated Rice Krispies.
This is a 1 out of 10 for me.
Actually, I thought you said, I thought you liked it.
No, I was shocked it wasn't as dry as it looked, but...
No. I don't like it.
I don't like it at all.
It's very dry. It kind of feels like someone took a Rice Krispie square, just bloated it in water, and then dried it out.
It has no flavor.
I'm gonna put that down.
I'll take one more bite just for the sake of it, but honestly, I don't know if I want to review this.
I'm a texture guy. It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
And unfortunately...
it's got a weird nuttiness after it. Funny enough, the weird little bit of nuttiness at the end is kind of the most enjoyable part.
I can't believe... Yeah, I guess I can. But we have a whole bunch. I'll be honest, I don't know if I want to eat any of these.
Oh, we got to go through it, bro. Well, we'll space it out between some other stuff.
Give it away at the leaf. Our workplace.
Yeah, I mean, we still have the chips there, actually. They're sealed, so they should be fine. But yeah, the duck tongue chips. Maria's duck tongue, the favorite.
No,
there. What, like, just move that over there. Well, yeah.
Dampness to it's weird.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a bloated Rice Krispie that dried out a little bit. I don't know, man. I was expecting more. I get like the slightest bit of like red bean flavor too. Like it's so minor and subtle. I actually got more of like that weird like nutty aftertaste more than I got the red bean.
For sure, same.
Weird fact, I'm actually going to a tasting menu tonight, like a chef.
Oh yeah, you're
11 course tasting idea.
that.
And I guess I'm just in the mood. I'm like, there's that weird little bit like nutty notes at the end.
You're gonna bring like a PD paper with you, take notes.
Yeah, I will definitely know current. I'm curious if they've ever done one.
So yeah, that was disappointing.
Yeah.
That was the worst snack we've had, easily.
Kind of like My Hero movies. Okay.
There was that one My Hero movie where I just spit this cereal bar on my tablet. Where Deku and
Bakugo.
yeah. I think
That won't be one you're talking about though.
I can't remember which one that was either. I think it was two heroes.
I think there are cool parts to it. Like a lot of the movies have cool parts, but overall they tend to be just like kind of drawn out with not a whole lot of substance. And that's where I'm like, it's kind of like, you know, anime when they do like filler seasons and stuff like that. It's like, or actually one of the things, so one of my favorite anime is Naruto. So don't get me wrong if people hate me for bashing this. However, I'm not even gonna be talking about the Naruto filler shit. What I mean is think of like the Final Valley battle first time between Naruto and Sasuke. They literally show you the same like Uchiha massacre flashback like 10 times over the course of 5-6 episodes, and it basically takes up so much of the episode where it's like, don't get me wrong, the Uchiha massacre is super important, super good, but like I don't need to see the same thing 10 times with like 1 extra second each time. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
I know, like One Piece can get that way too with some of their episodes where they're just showing flashback after flashback.
Just chill. Like,
But like I get it in their sense because they're just trying to kill time because they're so close to the manga, so they have to
yeah, long it. And then fans complain if they take a release break so the manga can get ahead, and then yeah, I know, but it's just like,
No, I'm with you. I'm laying on that one.
like, get a secondary team of writers that's not going to be anything to do with the manga, and just have them create like, you know, actual like content. I don't care if it's filler. I don't care if it's fluff piece. I don't care if it turns into like slice of life anime for a little bit while they do these fillers. As long as they develop character or like show the characters in a unique way, and it's not just like, oh shit, we've got to go catch a lost dog today. You know what I mean? Like,
on the note, let's stay on My Hero for a minute. So yeah, the movie was pretty cool.
the animation was sick, and there were really cool parts. I did think it was drawn out though.
It shouldn't have been 2 hours.
Yeah,
I think it's an hour and 50 minutes.
I don't know, but it was long. It felt long anyway.
Yeah, definitely felt long. Especially the intro was just drawn out. They introduced all these characters to start. I'm not even going to get into character names.
No, for that one.
No. Yeah, they introduced all these characters, all these villains. There's essentially a dude who was watching All for One fight. Wait, One for All?
One for All fighting, All Might fighting all for one.
Yeah. And then he heard the message from All Might being like, "You're next." He took it to heart. He pretty much had plastic surgery or put on like a space mask to like make himself look like All Might. He's strong, and I think he can like copy people's. Wait, how's his correct word again?
He can create things, like it's alchemy. So like for example, the mask, it's not like plastic surgery or anything like that. He basically uses alchemy on his face to adjust it.
True. Yeah.
It just changes matter, right?
Oh yeah, and then he uses that girl to amplify his powers. So like there's this girl who can amplify people's powers, and he's essentially kidnapped her to use her to his advantage. And then obviously the good guys, the heroes trying to save her, struggling, and then they win in the end of the day. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Nothing crazy happens in it. The animations are super sick though.
Yeah, no, the animation was incredible. Like even the opening animation with Deku, sorry, not with Deku. When they're in the like his like obsession room with All Might, watching the video of All for One and All Might fighting, the animation was crazy.
Yeah,
like the way they do that was so good.
And I was sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for those of you who don't know, I'm not gonna spoil anything to do with the ending of My Hero Academia, but they have released Deku's and like his final hero name. Okay, so because obviously they're all in school, things change. So a few of them, like Shoto and stuff, also got like decided on new heroines when they became adults and started becoming pro heroes. Deku's is One for All Deku. One for All. Isn't there One for All Hero Deku? It's been released. Yes.
When was that?
I saw an article about it literally this week.
But it was new. It wasn't like in the chapters or anything.
No,
I remember that.
Yeah, I know. I've got to look into it more because I think it sounds like they've been still releasing a few chapters like after the war.
Oh,
So like I started looking. I was reading one of like the Todoroki's family and all this stuff going on. So yeah. Anyway, something to look into. I just thought it was cool. Shoto's is like the aircon hero. Shoto or something like that.
There's no official chapters.
It could also be like a book,
maybe.
You know what I mean? Like a data book kind of thing. But anyway, that was released. It was pretty cool. I'm not going to go into the details of what happens there just because it could spoil things for people, but just on this little fun tidbit.
Every time I see it, I'm always reminded how cool Black Whip is.
Yeah, Black Whip is sick.
I actually really like that. Especially how he uses it in conjunction with what's the one that like makes them faster?
Yeah, it's the one where he repeats the move.
Yeah,
the canal chain thing.
And then his like Spidey sense.
Yeah, danger sense. Danger sense is sick.
Yeah, no, I think Deku's cool. Like his powers are cool. Obviously, as the show, like when the show first started, he's kind of a dweeb. But then he grows on you for sure.
Well, I think danger sense is actually like probably the most important power he has because of his lack of actual experience fighting. So like if he didn't have danger sense, like shit would go very different. Not that he's not like got a decent battle IQ and all these other things, but he has virtually no experience compared to the people he's fighting 9 times out of 10. So once he starts to fight villains that are actually on par power level with himself, all of a sudden, if you don't have the experience, you're done.
I am looking forward to covering the next season. Do you think the next one will be the last one?
No, I think it's supposed to be the last. I think the next one's supposed to be the last one.
It should be.
Based on where this one ended, yeah. But going into that, let's go into Vigilante. So we watch episodes 3 and 4 that we're talking about. A new one that comes out, I believe, tomorrow on Monday.
Is it Monday drop?
I think it's a Monday drop. We're recording on Sunday, just for you guys who don't know. But before we fully go into that, I actually want to let's compare a little bit. Koichi, Deku. Who is the better protagonist so far? I actually really, I like Koichi.
I need more still.
I feel like Koichi, so Deku, you get the underdog story of him being quirkless and him being like a dweeb and getting bullied and all these other things. But everything that happens to him and how it happens to him is also still so grandiose. And he's given something so OP so quickly that it as much as you could potentially relate to the character, it kind of creates this big barrier right away, right? Because instead of being like, I don't know, a character you can relate to, and then you can relate to how they're progressing and becoming more awesome, you don't get that second part. You can maybe relate to the character initially feeling like powerless or like you might not be able to achieve your dreams, but that most of us can't relate to our dreams literally just being handed to us at the absolute max capacity and then just trying to cope with it. That's a very different thing. Whereas Koichi is literally just like average Joe Blow, similar to Deku, just wants to be a hero. He's not quirkless, but can't make the cut, basically. And then, obviously, something like out of the world happens to him, and he meets Knuckle Duster and this stuff. But the whole time, like, we've never had him just, like, plot armor spontaneously get ridiculous or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. I think for me, it's a little biased because we've had Deku for so long. We've seen a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to compare when we're 4 episodes in to Koichi's powers, or just him in general.
I just think earlier on, I'm liking this guy more than I did originally with Deku.
Yes, I will. Well, yeah, I will admit to that. I think Deku took most of the first season for me to like him.
Mm-hmm.
Koichi is definitely likable right from this. Actually, no, that's a lie. First episode, he was a little annoying.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That last episode, he definitely grew on me a lot
with Tenya.
With Tensei.
Tensei, sorry, yes.
Yeah, Tensei, who is Ida's.
Tensei Ida, which is Tenya Ida's brother.
Tenya Ida's brother, that's it. Illenium, what's his?
In Ingenium.
Ingenium.
So I actually really liked that last episode because I was like, oh, the feels, man. We never really got to see Tensei do anything
For like his injury.
Yeah, but and it kind of for me, it kind of made Tenya's stuff feel a little more shallow than I would have liked because there's so much cool character development going on with Tenya at that time and all these things. But like, I almost wish we got to see a bit of Tensei first, so we personally could have fallen in love with the character a little bit. It's kind of like what Demon Slayer did with the Fire Hashira.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, here's this cool character. You're just meeting him. He's awesome. Fall in love with him. You're done. Gut punch. You're out.
Rest in peace,
Like,
Deku.
I think it was such a good arc. The Stain arc was incredible. Everything about it was great. I do wish I just got that little bit more, though. However, I think, fans always want more.
Yeah, and as I was watching it, I was thinking, how cool would it be if there was overlap with Vigilante and My Hero? Like, if they did take place in the same timeline. So, like you said, if Hensei didn't get hurt right away, they show him a little bit in My Hero. And then Vigilante, if it was going on at the same time, you have some overlap there, and then maybe he gets hurt in the middle of like season 1 or something.
I haven't paid enough attention, and this is on me. I think so there are certain anime and manga that I'm like super into, and I pay attention to fine details. One Piece would probably be one like that for you. Obviously, like Naruto, Two Blue Vortex is all of that stuff for me, and to a degree, One Piece as well. I've never been that way with My Hero, but like. So there's certain things that I'm starting to catch, and I don't know if I'm actually catching them or if I'm just making it up in my head. But like, for example, the drug they're going after now, I'm pretty sure that was being used in one of the movies. I'm pretty sure they talk about Trigger in one of the movies, or it's like later in the My Hero seasons. I'm pretty sure they do. But I don't know for sure. I'd have to actually look into it. And then it's the same. Like, I don't know. Like, neither of us have. Obviously, the manga's way further ahead. Neither of us have read it though. And I know this comes in place before My Hero, but I don't actually know how far ahead. So, how far behind My Hero it is. So there might be some like secret overlap, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with like everything that's going on in the last season of My Hero that we just got. It's like, who's to say Knuckle Duster's not sitting there in an alleyway punching someone's face in? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just searching whether or not Trigger was actually used.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I feel like I've heard it mentioned either in the movies or the show at some other point, like not in Vigilante outside of it.
Probably what's this?
And when you think about it, like the one we were just talking about where they have that gas in the world mission or whatever, or World Heroes, like it's kind of the same fucking thing as Trigger.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's just on a much higher scale and it's a gaseous form rather than action, right?
I don't really have a...
So it's basically like just a better version of Trigger for the purpose of what the villains want anyway.
Yeah, I don't really have a clear answer yet, unfortunately.
And that's
not to if need be.
Yeah, I just think it would be... I feel like there's a chance they might actually be low-key setting up something pretty intricate. That could also be me just hoping. And the whole thing, so.
I think it is... I think there's something to do with like people moving around drugs in My Hero, and I think that is supposed to be Trigger, but they don't really like fixate on it.
Oh, okay.
I think
so. That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure I've read it in passing or something.
Yeah, a minor villain amplifies his blades, burning great number of... I think that's just referring to Vigilante. I don't know.
Oh, wait. What? No, the serial killer. The jailbreaker.
Oh, yeah. No,
because he spreads blades, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that was where I saw it, because I did just watch through a shitload of My Hero all at one time, like very quickly.
As the one like a smoke quirk uses it, so I think it is used.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I think they were starting to trickle it in. Also, catching up on My Hero, I realized that in the later seasons of My Hero, they actually do some of the like the sound effect words and stuff, like the pop words.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, not a lot, but a little bit.
I remember some scenes with All Might that did it,
but yeah, no. So I was really cool to see that. I think what I want to see the most of this, honestly, episode 3. I know a lot happened, but none of it stuck with me. Like I know there was a big fight. There was a B girl. I thought the B girl was kind of cool, like the way they introduced her. Where her outline's coming from, that she's a fan of Pop Step and all these other things, and hearing All for One over the phone is crazy. Like that stuff's all fun, but like the individual events, like it was kind of just like, oh, let's fight.
It was very forgettable.
It kind of just made you want to learn more about Knuckle Duster, get you a little bit invested in the villain side of things. But what I'm most excited for is what episode 4 started diving into with Koichi and Tensei, which is
like a mentorship there.
It's more that what I want to see from Vigilante. So in My Hero, for the most part, we got quirks that were obviously ridiculous. You know what I mean? You have Yo-Yo being able to create whatever the hell she wants out of fat lipids. You have Shoto with a hot and cold. You have Bakugo throwing up explosions. I will say that I've never really understood how they try to give so much potential to Bakugo's quirk. I'm like, there's definitely quirks in Class 1A that are overshadowed. That have way more potential than explosions.
For sure. I guess it's more a thing of how much they might have potential, but it's more a ceiling thing. It's like sports, for example. You have people who are decent, they can get shots in, they can get some assists here and there. But then you have those guys who are just crazy athletic, and then they can just do more.
Yeah, you're
talking more shots.
You're talking about their natural talent ceiling versus their quirk ceiling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would agree 100%. But I think what we're gonna get out of this is seeing unique ways to use these powers. And what I'm really hoping, they've kind of talked about like quirk awakenings a little bit in My Hero, but I'm hoping they dive into that more with Vigilante.
They have to.
Because it makes so much more sense.
Yeah, like you can't just have, like how many chapters is Vigilante, do you know?
It's gotta be over 100. Well over 100.
Yeah, but either way, like you can't have a whole series and that being his ceiling.
I really got to figure out what this one is called. I don't know if it's a manhwa or a manga, but there is one where, like I was telling you before, where it's like a competition and everyone has a power. Everyone's given a power, but it's always like really ridiculous, like shitty powers, and they have to try to find a way to use them in really creative ways to actually. And that's kind of where I want to see this going. So like, one of two things has to happen: either the very simple, which is some sort of quirk awakening that makes it better, or two, they've got to get like extremely creative. In a way that makes sense. Otherwise, it'll just seem like cheap. And I kind of want them to go to the second route. It's way harder, but it would be so much cool, like so much more interesting. I also like how there's the peeping toms, who are basically using like almost the exact same quirk as Koichi, and they're skating around.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, are these guys gonna come back? Is he gonna try
and maybe like learn something from them, or that wasting them's gonna help elevate his powers some way, somehow.
Exactly. Like what, or like they're in jail or something because they put them there, and he goes and talks to them or whatever. And because right now he's under, like, he just have 3 points of contact, but like the easiest way to upgrade his quirk or make it a little bit better is maybe as he gets better with it, he doesn't need as many points of contact, and obviously the sliding could get faster. Right?
Yeah, obviously we want to see him get faster. He's learning how to control his movements a lot more with help with Tensei.
And that's what I mean. That's why I like episode 4 so much, was because it's like, it started getting him to think different ways about using the power, and I think that's where he's going to shine as a character.
And then Knuckle Duster is obviously just going to get stronger.
Yeah, I just want to know more about Knuckle Duster. Like, for whatever reason, I feel like somehow he's going to be like, even though he just doesn't have a quirk, he's going to be injected with Trigger or something that's kind of like pulling him out. Yeah.
And then they might have like something, they might be blowing like a rage or something.
Yeah, I have no idea, but like I really want to see.
Also, want to more people talk to. I know you don't really care for Paul. I'm like, she's all right. Like
She hasn't used her power. She just kind of like
bounces off things.
Yeah, like air too.
Yeah, she needs to like touch something, and then she can propel herself essentially.
I don't know, man. She's kind of like a background character that's somehow a main character.
I feel like she's definitely going to have a moment where she shines.
She has to. She has to have more of a story about her, because right now there's just nothing to care about with her. At least like with Knuckle Duster, you get intrigue built around him, and he's such a boisterous character that like you get interested right away and pulled in. Koichi's obviously the main character, so we're the story's told from his perspective, so we're designed to be interested in him, and then you just kind of have Pop Step just chilling, and it's like, what the fuck are you here for? So there's got to be something eventually, but.
Yeah, no, like I did like the last episode. I am intrigued to see where it goes moving forward. They haven't really given much, like obviously other than the conversation that B girl had over the phone, they haven't really given much to show where it's going to go.
Oh yeah. Do you know what would be really sick? You remember how in My Hero when they took Toya, they moved him to basically that facility where they were raising a bunch of like potential All for One candidates.
Oh,
If somehow that links in, because that's a past thing that could 100% link in.
yeah, that would be cool.
Or even something to do with like the something like obviously not directly in the battle with All Might and like Makia and stuff like that, but around it when All Might got his big injury.
That would be cool. I can see, yeah, I can see
That shit would be so cool.
And again, maybe they'll end with something like that. Really, the series or manga or whatever ends with that scene essentially.
That would be really cool.
Or would be cool if there was definitely a little more overlap at the end as well.
Yeah.
Fire
Force.
Did
You got like episode 4 and 3,
bro?
I know you've read it, but like, damn, I actually really loved episode 4.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't know what it is about episode 4.
I'm trying to remember like what happened in each episode, but
so
like, what
episode 3 for me wasn't crazy. Like I did like how
that was when they're fighting the magnetism.
Yeah. Funny enough, they kind of did what we were just talking about with Vigilante, and I really like how Fire Force does that because obviously at first glance they're very limited. It's like, okay, all these people have firepower. Oh, sick. They can all do the same. They're all firemen. They can do the same thing.
Yeah.
But the creativity and how they're using the fire is great. I mean, I'm not a good enough chemist to sit and challenge some of these.
I was debating Googling it, but I was like, I can't be bothered.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of it, like let's use the magnetism thing. I'm sure to some capacity, if they're throwing it in there, there's truth to it.
Essentially, like what was the
heating up gold to turn it into
but like you have to heat it up to a certain degree, and then it no longer becomes magnetized.
Yeah, and then if you overheat it, it's no longer magnetized. But like I'm sure there's truth to that, very simply. But obviously, we're not using magnetism at such a degree like that just by heating up gold that we're able to control the exact direction and get the fluid. Like that's obviously where we have to like suspend belief for the sake of the show. But suspend. But no, I think it's really sick. I like it when they try to use things in a unique way. Again, sometimes it gets a little far fetched, and I think this one was kind of starting to get there, but it was really cool. And I feel like they still haven't done a crazy amount with Tamaki.
I guess it is actually accurate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure heating up gold does turn it into a magnet, but obviously just again suspended belief because it's a show and not to that like. Even if you did do that, there's no way you're having the level of control over magnets.
Oh yeah, no,
that's happening there. You're not fucking Magneto. Like,
the fan service can definitely get a little cringy.
I actually thought that the third episode with Tamaki, as much as there was like obviously Tamaki's like Lucky Orchard bullshit,
they've done more in the past with her.
I think this was the first time they kind of ignored it. Like it happened.
None
of the characters like really react.
Well, like when like the first thing with her belt falling off and like it literally just zooms into like her crotch
and the wiggles.
Yeah, like we don't need to zoom in. I think you could have had a little zoomed out. I think that was definitely a little cringy, but
it always bugs me too because and they do this a lot, obviously, but it's like she's basically designed. I don't know how old the characters actually are, but she's basically designed to look like a 15-year-old, 14-year-old.
That's a creepy thing. Most of these animes, they usually are that age, and they're being shot and it's weird. And then obviously you have a lot of out there.
Pretty sure
who want it.
I'm pretty sure age of consent is like 14 or something like that in Japan.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's like
did they change it though recently?
No, and they might have changed it recently, but last I heard that it wasn't that it had changed. It's just like social norms have changed, but the law hasn't.
I feel like we're using Google a lot today.
That's okay. But yeah, I think I liked about this time is that the characters didn't make a big deal of the whole Lucky.
So age of consent was 13. But then in 2023 they moved it up to 16.
Okay, so it's more in line with a lot of the world. Yeah. Anyway, they didn't dwell on it from a character point of view, and that's why I was like, yeah, whatever. It's actually a step up because normally they literally stop and they have every character get blushing and like hyper focus on it for a second, even if it's in combat. And this was the first time that I can remember that they didn't truly do that.
Yeah, that's very true. Animations are always impressive. I feel like they're really.
I have no issues with it.
Yeah.
So hairball thing's a lot weird, but it's kind of fun.
For sure. Burns is always sick to see animated.
True.
Going to episode 4 where Dragon comes in. Well, Arthur comes back. Just runs that one dude. Yeah. But then he faces his true rival, Dragon.
Yeah.
Obviously with Arthur, if you guys know. He fantasizes. Well, he envisions himself as a knight. And his powers get stronger the more he believes that he's a knight.
Yeah, so he takes inspiration from things around him and then incorporates them into his personal world, basically.
Yeah.
And the easier it is for him to do that, the more he can get into this facade or fantasy idea of him being a knight, and it allows him to level up, essentially.
So yeah, so this guy Dragon, I guess he has powers that help. So he can kind of turn into an infernal. Like he has a...
They didn't really explain it.
They didn't explain it. But essentially he can kind of make himself look somewhat like a dragon.
I guess he's a doppelganger based on how they were going about it.
And you would think because of his name being Dragon, Arthur would just get like this huge power boost as a result. And he kind of does. But he still can't scratch Dragon at all. He just gets wrecked.
They keep talking, again, they haven't really solved the power thing yet, but they keep talking about like the pressure and the wind pressure. So obviously when you heat things up, you create pressure, right? That's basically what an explosion is, right? Just the pressure of something happening and expanding out. So my guess is his seemingly invulnerable self comes from partly just being like tough, but also from generating that pressure upon impact, and that's how Arthur's also getting hurt, is because the pressure is stopping the attack before it properly hits him, or at least limiting it, and then also because it's blowing outward, it's actually injuring Arthur as well.
Yeah.
That would be my guess. That's what I've been thinking anyway.
Yeah, that seems to add up.
But that's why I like these things, because if they don't solve it right away, you have to try to be like, oh, how's this working? Okay.
Yeah, and I think Fire Force does a good job of that, where they're not laying all their cards right away. It definitely gets you thinking. It allows us to talk about it on our podcast. Also, just kind of going back a bit to in that third episode where I forget his name, the dude with the gun.
Oh, the lieutenant. Oh shit, I can't remember his name either.
But yeah, essentially he just shoots that chick in the head. Like it's brutal. Like they don't hold back. Let's see if I can find it real quick here without killing too much time.
So I think
Ten Kahisa Hinowa.
Lieutenant Hinowa.
Yeah.
So for those of you, most people probably won't know this. There's a really, really, really old classic little book called Men of La Mancha. Anyway, and it's basically about this story of Don Quixote, who he's like after the age of the knights and stuff like that, and he's really old. He reads all these storybooks and fantasy books about the knights, and that's all he does. He's retired, very wealthy family, and then one day he kind of just like something tweaks in his brain. And he goes and he pulls out, like, dusts off his ancestral armor and stuff like that, takes his old beat up horse, and he just starts kind of roaming the countryside, in this imaginary world where in his head he's a knight and he's going on these grand adventures. And the most classic moment is he comes across a windmill and he thinks it's like a cyclops, and he starts trying to fight this windmill and all this stuff. And that is like paralleled so well with Arthur to me. I know it's like it's obscure, most people will get it, but it's one of the most like renowned books in history. But
It sounds really I'm not.
But it's crazy how closely like Arthur's whole situation and Don Quixote are there, and the whole thing is much like they did with Arthur. Everyone around him kind of the whole time is like, "What the fuck? What's going on with you?"
Yeah, at first they're just calling him out like, "No, this is fake. Like you're not a knight, blah blah." But then they realize that they need to hype him up, make him believe more. It's like when he got his horse and there's like the stick.
Yeah.
Just a broom with a horse head on it.
Well,
That's why he took us so literally like, oh, I have a horse.
that's why it mirrors it so well for me, because like in this, he gets like this really, really beaten up old workhorse, and he's running and he's like, my steed, and all this other stuff. He literally goes to like his work hand who lives like right down from his estate, and he's like, I'm just gonna pay you to be my squire. And the work hand just follows him along and it's like, whatever, I'll pretend to be your squire, and all like it's crazy shit.
I thought it was funny when they did show him falling off the tank. His excuse for being late was just like, I fell off my horse. Just as simple like that.
I think the best part is, they did a really good job of like making sure you knew he fell off because you saw the foot fall off at a scene and everything when it actually happened, but then they didn't acknowledge it at all for like 2 hours.
Yeah, it's like,
Well, I was like, this they didn't acknowledge him at all last 2 episodes.
which made his entrance like that much more grand.
It was so good.
I think,
I need Maru to come in, bro. I need Maru to bust that.
that's a mistake. And it ends with pretty much things heating up. Well, actually, no. So,
Who you talk about?
the Obi.
Oh yeah, Obi. Yeah.
They try to give him the bug to make him into a infernal.
Yeah, it's just,
And essentially, he's just so muscular that the bugs can't penetrate his skin.
and then they make it seem like he planned it out.
Yeah, like, you shouldn't have let me train that hard in prison. And then he's just like flexing away. It's like,
They're all gonna juice him up, Mr. Oil God or whatever.
they're like, oh, the most muscular. And yeah.
I think the funniest thing, what I appreciated most about what's been happening, especially in episode 4, was, Fire Force does such a good job of, even when things get intense and they get more serious, they get more dramatic, keeping the initial comedy that they started off with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't
Appreciate
they don't stray away from it. Like, even though things are getting heated and serious, they're still trying to make it fun.
Yeah.
But then again, they go dark and like shooting people straight in the head. So, yeah, no, I do enjoy the show.
It's so good.
And then this episode ends with Joker and what's the main character's name again? Remind me.
Shiko? No.
Shinra. Them fighting Burns again.
Yeah, and actually getting like a decent little smackdown on him because like if Obi stops flexing, he'll be turned into an inferno because the bugs will break. And I love how there was that other guy there who put the bugs on him who's just like not trying to do anything.
Yeah.
Like you could try to distract him, you could try to do anything to make him stop flexing for a second. The bugs would do their jobs. Like, he's just, oh my god, how is he so strong?
Yeah.
The whole time. Okay, now super fun part, 2 frames per second. Sahil, what's your 2 frames per second for the week?
Mine's going to be the final fight scene of the My Hero movie. Where Deku, Bakugo, and
Shoto?
Shoto. I was trying to remember his name. I wanted to say Shohei for some reason, but I'm thinking Shohei Ohtani. Where they go against Dark Might, and that animation scene was nuts.
Yeah. The movies, that's the nice part with a bunch of the movies too, right? Is you always get like absolute top tier. What I really liked about that movie is the way they were using depth in the anime.
Yeah.
That was what really caught me. It was really sick.
And you see that trend happening in general.
Yeah.
Like a lot more anime. Like Jujutsu Kaisen did that a lot with the last season.
I actually forgot to mention it, but I started Moonrise, like we talked about. And Moonrise has an opening that's really cool. I'm going to go into that real quick. Like the intro animation was amazing. Again, the way they're using the depth to work on the train. They have like a gentle, somber hum of Moon River.
Oh.
So, that's no little shit, like just going on the whole time in the background as the intro. And it seems to be a theme throughout the whole thing. It's got a unique fighting style, but it is very reminiscent of like Attack on Titan. They have like, I haven't fully grasped it yet. But they're using some sort of like material that allows them to like phase through things or like jet forward in speed to work because they're used to fighting on moon gravity. So this is how they can do that and still keep impact.
Is it on Crunchyroll?
No, it's on Netflix.
No.
But it was a cool option. There's a part where like right early on they're trying to get the guy to go on to like they have to get the main character who's like lazy basically and careless to go on to this cruise. And he just they're like, but we won't get there in time. The cruise will have left the dock. And he's like, I've got an idea. And they just show up in a fucking helicopter and just land on the boat. It was like, okay, that's pretty badass.
Is it done? The first season?
I think so. It's got like 26 episodes or 18 episodes or something on Netflix. I don't really know where everything's going yet. There's a really dark turn at where I shit you not, like it jumps moods a lot, but it flows really well. Like I'm actually really liking it. It's really hooked me. It's got me intrigued, so I'm excited for it. There's a part where they're doing like a flashback, and it's one of like the darker moments. And this kid just casually tells this robot to rip his arm off and give it to the main character.
Oh.
Yeah, so the main character, like, during this, like, explosion and all this stuff, and when they're kids, he ends up losing his arm, and then his friend ends up, like, trying to help him get out. And just before he sends him off in a pod, he's like, "Don't worry, you'll survive." And he's like, "Robot, rip my arm off," and just puts the arm on the kid. That's really like, it's like, what?
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
So it's kind of all over the place to watch, but it's pretty good. My 2 frames per second is actually, mm, it's not from anime, and I'll try to not do this at all, but this one actually quite bothered me, so I had to bring it up. Is the CGI bits in Daredevil Born Again, where he's like entering the building and stuff.
Yeah, you actually reminded me of that.
That shit bites. Like,
yeah,
I don't remember. Maybe I'm forgetting it. I don't remember any of that dumb shit in the Netflix show.
So I remember when that happened, I had to like stop myself as well and be like, wait a second. Is this CGI or is there something with the filming they're doing? Because again, like you said, I don't remember any of those CGI or live duties. It looks cheap. It ruins it. Otherwise, I did like Born Again aside from all that.
I think they probably could have moved the pace a little bit more. Like, I think they didn't give us enough of the story for a full season in my mind. But aside from that, yeah, I kind of felt like season 2 of Squid Game to me, where it's like, okay, like, it feels like you're giving us half of a season,
and I don't like how it ended.
Part of what I'm
yeah, where it's just like you have this story going on, and you're like, oh, we're gonna have some sort of conclusion. I get having a cliffhanger at the end,
and that's okay.
But they didn't give us any conclusion or any closure. There was another thing I was gonna say too. I just can't remember now.
It's definitely CGI.
CGI was definitely cringy.
It is the stupidest thing. It's just him entering the building.
Yeah,
like, you don't need CGI for that. And if you want CGI for that, sorry, if you wanted to do that, you don't need CGI. And if you couldn't do it without CGI, well, you don't need to do it.
Yeah,
like, we don't need to see him go into a window in a dark night. That's okay.
I'm like, I feel like that you could have done that without CGI. Like, fine.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is like maybe they're trying to, like, he does it extremely quick.
Mm-hmm.
But like also very unnaturally quick because of CGI. It looks very odd. And it's like, if you wanted to just like, I don't know, maybe you're trying to get like that, the whole, oh, he's a devil, he's something crazy, whatever. But like, it doesn't work. Don't do it.
I was talking to my one buddy, Andrew, about it, and he was saying something about how mid-season they went through a lot of changes. And maybe that's part of the reason why it ended the way it did.
I don't know, man. I mean, you're Disney. You got a budget.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like, you could just not do it. Or, you have the ability to do it well. So just do it well.
Yeah.
In that case, if you were like some indie thing, whatever, I'm not going to hold anything against you, but
yeah, no, I do.
When you're Disney,
otherwise I really enjoy it. Like, Punisher was super sick in it.
Yeah, I think
the usual.
I wish we got a little more of White Tiger before it happened. I'm almost like expecting.
But you know what they're left. You know what they're going to do? What? They're going to make his daughter White Tiger.
I hope not. She's like 12.
I just have this feeling they're going to go that way with it. That seems to be the trend with everything else right now.
I mean, it is true.
And I don't want it to go that way because it is too, at this point, it's too typical of them.
Yeah. Well, it's a trope at this point. It's constantly happening. I almost expect them to somehow be like, oh, he didn't actually die. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Pretty point blank in the fucking head.
Yeah, and like he saw the body and everything.
But I don't know. Maybe there's some like weird shit with the amulet or something. I'm really not familiar with the character.
Or maybe he was actually just a Skrull. But if he was dead, then he would revert back to his original form, probably, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe they faked it. You know what I mean? They faked the funeral thing somehow.
Kind of going back to White Tiger's daughter. That was another thing I didn't really like about it. Too much on her. Like the whole thing where she went on her own to find the killer.
Yeah,
it's like, we didn't need that. I could have gone with the whole thing.
I feel like they spent too much time focusing on Muse for not actually really accomplishing anything with Muse. Like, all we accomplished is the same thing we already accomplished with Poindexter, which was essentially like that Murdoch killed somebody.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Like, you could make the argument because, oh, well, that's what brought Daredevil back. But yeah, I mean, the events at the end would have also still got him to be Daredevil again. So, like, you didn't. I felt like Muse would have been cool if you made him the main villain, but you didn't.
Yeah.
You could have had Kingpin building everything up in the background still, and all these other things, like the way it started off, and maybe this is the mid-season change you were talking about. But, like, I don't know. I felt like they built Muse up and then ripped it down real quick, so it didn't have any effects. And then, like, Kingpin didn't really start doing anything until after that happened, and then I just...
Well, it's kind of in line with like
they tried to do two things, and neither felt like they did.
They're trying to do the whole thing where obviously Kingpin and Daredevil were
mirrored. Yeah.
Were like, mirrored. So they started off like not doing their typical like Matt Murdock not becoming Daredevil or not being Daredevil, and Kingpin trying to stay on the good path and just like staying in politics.
Mm-hmm.
But then slowly Kingpin starts becoming evil again, and slowly Matt Murdock starts
going back to
Daredevil. The one thing that definitely was like a jaw dropper. Then there's a couple moments actually. End of the first episode, obviously, when Bucky dies. Bucky?
Foggy.
Bucky is
Foggy Hills.
Yeah. When Foggy dies, and then when Daredevil just chucks Bullseye off the roof.
That was so savage.
Like, I don't know what was more.
He didn't even like throw him. He just kind of like let him fall.
Yeah.
Like kind of just like shrugged him off.
Yeah.
That was so good.
And then the scene where Matt Murdock was in that one witness's house.
Oh no, yes.
And the police officers come in, and he's trying to be like, amicable, and like, I'm not going to tell you where he is, but at the same time, I'm not going to fight you guys. And they start roughing him up, and then they're going to go to shoot him. And at that point, they're I'm going to fuck you guys up.
Yeah. I like
that cop gets beat up all the fucking time by Mike.
That was his ass heading to him. Okay. So the last one we're going to talk about now is Witch Watch. This is our first impressions of Witch Watch. We're, 4 or 5 episodes in. Yeah, so what are your thoughts on Witch Watch so far? So Witch Watch is definitely, I'm going to speak for you, but I don't think it's either one of our normal kind of anime. So I'm going to try to be, I want to be honest, but I'm also going to be like, I'm going to try to be like devil's advocate on myself a little bit and be like, I realize that this isn't my thing.
I've watched a couple series similar to it for sure, like a couple slice of life with some like rom-com to it. Like the one I think I watched would be Kaguya-sama Love is
I've heard of really good things.
It's really funny. Again, I feel like with Witch Watch, it dragged. I was bored, but then they'd throw in some funny shit with like all the references to their manga.
I fucking love the references. I actually love.
So I feel like that's the only thing keeping me watching at this point. It's like, okay, what are I going to reference next? Like the funniest part was when So should we go over a premise first? I guess. So
yeah, what we're talking about.
So Witch Watch. What does Anime Planet, our boys over there, or females too, have to say? Morihito, a boy with strength of an ogre, is about to start living together with his childhood friend Nico, who is training to be a witch. Nico's magic leads to all sorts of unpredictable trouble, and the two teens under one roof let the fantastical antics begin. Doesn't really say a lot, but yeah, childhood friends. She goes off to become a witch and strengthen her powers. 10 years later, she comes back.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then the main character finds out he has to protect her.
She does some like prophecy. Yeah, her mom prophesies that some disaster was going to befall her.
Yeah. And his whole thing was, okay, maybe I'm just going to like make sure people don't find out she's a witch, keep her at home. But then she says that witches who don't have any social life essentially become dark and go towards evil.
Yeah, go towards dark magic because they get depressed and whatever else.
Yeah, so she has to go out and about, joins his school, and pretty much instantly her secret comes out.
Yeah.
Which was funny in that whole scene where they're in a classroom
and he's making different parts of his body bigger and shit.
Yeah. And I died with like, so she has this power of one ability or one spell, when I say, where she points and it becomes bigger. But it has to be like precise. And I think they were sitting like further than we're sitting right now. So like maybe through the windows, about 5 feet apart, I would say.
She just kept pointing to the wrong spot.
Yeah, so she points. So this character has like some hair sticking up. And she points at the hair by accident.
On her face?
Yeah. And so like it just shoots up. And it looks like Gon from Hunter x Hunter.
When he's an adult.
Yeah. And the teacher's like this big otaku. Like she loves manga, but she doesn't want anyone to know. And she freaks out, just like, wait a second. Is that Gon?
The teachers,
did he like sacrifice his years of his future to like power up in this moment, essentially?
A teacher's my favorite actor, to be honest. No, I think it's really cool. The references again, I'd have to say go with me the whole way. I mean, it's not a different thing for sure, but like, I will say that with shonen, you very usually have like your guy simping over your girl, so to have it the opposite. I know it's not uncommon, but again, when you watch mostly shonen, it kind of is. So to have it flipped the other way is kind of a refreshing, I guess. Yeah, the introductions to references in the second episodes were freaking hilarious. I kind of like I get that it's for the most part it's just going to be this like wacky like, oh, all these magic gone wrong, ha ha ha, because they all have like these silly side effects and stuff like that, like the one where she can change her outfit to anything from a magazine,
but only like what she can see in a magazine.
yeah, so because she can only see the front, there's no back to the clothing, and it just goes like sheer. So just the silly things like that, like they're funny. Again, it's not really my kind of thing, but it is unique, it is quirky. I like that about it. I know you said you didn't like episode 4, but there's one thing that was amazing. Episode 4's finale. So they bring in another protector of her, and they don't see eye to eye. There's some history back and forth.
What do they call it again? He's not an ogre. He's a son.
A
Tensai?
No, Tendashu, Tengo. I honestly don't remember. But what I found hilarious about it was at the end when they're like slowly supposed to be becoming friends and stuff, but they're still bitter rivals. Bust cards at decks of Yu-Gi-Oh.
The Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, that's.
Oh my god, it hit me right in the heels.
That part was hilarious. My question is
Kanshi. Kanshi's a character name, by the way.
Yeah, my question is, how long could they do that for? Like, how long are these references going to, like, because he says 26 episodes.
Oh, bro, there's a lot of manga and anime.
Is there a lot of manga for it?
No, I don't know about this. I'm just saying that they could reference.
Oh, yeah. So, but again, like, there's a lot, but for the key big ones, yeah, obviously they're not going to reference all the different mangas out there. They're doing, like, Demon Slayer a lot. They've done Demons. I think in the one episode they did Demon Slayer twice.
Yeah, like they've done that a lot.
There's the one dude reading the Demon Slayer manga, and then again I don't know this dude's ability, and I can't remember his name either. But he was talking about like how his dad's favorite character is
great. Oh, Kanji.
Yeah. With some Demon Slayer.
I think so. I'm almost waiting for like a Sakamoto Days thing. Like when we're talking about Sakamoto Days, we're talking about the slice of life, how it was kind of fun, kind of quirky, like mostly slice of life, but had these other aspects. But I heard that it changes a lot, right? Like apparently Sakamoto Days doesn't stay like the slice of life you think. It like does start to.
So you think witchcraft's
as you think evolve? I don't think it is. But I think it could. Like the way they're building it up between bringing in like the ogres and then this, like they could. I don't think they would. I don't think that's their idea, which is kind of shitty because I kind of like the ogre idea actually.
They could do a lot with it,
but yeah, I mean it's not really my cup of tea. I'd give it so far a power level of like I guess I'll give it like a 5,000. Like again, it's not my thing, so I'm having a hard time gauging it right now. But I think it does what it's trying to do well. It definitely has an audience. Yeah, like it definitely has an audience. It definitely has an identity and sticks to it. It's just not for me.
Yeah. And even like animation, it's mid. It's not bad. There's no like poorly animated scenes, but there's nothing to write home about either. Like I know maybe one thing we should cover down the road is like Oshinoko.
I love.
I actually again it's also a slice of life mystery.
That one's kind of all over the place.
It's a little over the place. But the animations are great.
Yeah, like
and how it's like. I feel like when something's well animated, it helps with it makes the watch a little more enjoyable. So I feel like if this was better animated, maybe I'd enjoy the watch a little more too. Where it kind of feels dated, even though it's a brand new season. It kind of gives it feels of like at least 5-10 years ago.
Yeah, that's fair. I think when you're a studio deciding those things, like if you're deciding where to put your money, this probably isn't it.
No, 100%.
So I think that's probably where that sits.
I would give it a 4,000.
4,000, a little less, yeah.
And like I was saying, we use Anime Planet to look at our characters and our reviews. So shout out to them. I realized they also have a kind of review, like stars set a 5-star setting, and they gave this a 3.5 star
Out of 5?
out of 5. Where every other anime we're talking about is a 4 or higher.
My anime list is a 7.5.
So like
That's
higher than what I would give it.
Actually, funny enough, both. What? There's no way. Okay, so Vigilante and Witchwatch on my anime list have the same score of 7.52.
I definitely would give Vigilante a higher score than Witch.
And then Fire Force is an 8.08.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I think I'm curious to see where it goes. Like finish of the season, I'll be honest. Where it's sitting right now, it's like finish of the season because it's what we committed to
For sure.
But like next year, well, they might do like a half season or whatever, right? Like release in 2 bits, and I don't know if I'd survive 2 bits. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if they took an airing break for a new season or for whatever reason, like as is now, I don't think I'd be down to continue.
And I think the reality of it, there's so much anime out there. Like, why do we need to watch? By the end of it, if it's great, sure, we'll keep up. But if we still have the same rating, the same feels, I wouldn't be hurt if we didn't tackle it again.
Oh, no, there's another way.
And honestly, even like 26 episodes is a lot. It's not even after 2 episodes. Even like after the next few weeks and it's trending downwards for whatever reason, like, hey, there's a lot of other bits that I kind of want to cover too. Like Coil, Moonrise, Gundam we're going to cover next week.
Yeah, so next week is the new Gundam series on Amazon Prime. That's going to be the new one.
And just like taking a look through Crunchyroll, there's a lot out there right now. So it's like,
it's true. So with that being said, we're going to the final bit. Manga, I don't really think I've read any this week. I've been crazy with the baby. It's hard to focus on that. But I'm going to commit this week to figuring out what this either manga or manga is that I was referring to earlier, where it's like the tournament and there's a lot of price. I'm gonna commit to finding out what that is, and I'm gonna start it.
I'm gonna ask what it is.
I think I know who brought it to my attention the first time, so I'm gonna try to talk to them.
Okay.
And then another part, we were thinking of doing a couple special episodes, whether it's reviewing like a movie or a show that we've seen in the past, with like, let's say another 2 people aside from just us, and kind of having just a general discussion, or an episode where Sahil and I tried to play the One Piece card game for the first.
Oh yeah,
I don't know where it is, but we have it. So
we have a couple decks. So
yeah,
I'm down for that. Yeah, no, I haven't. I've been bad with my manga reading too lately, and I don't have a baby. I've just been busy. Got a fun projects going on right now. I got a food baby. Yeah, I do. I had a lot of Burger King last night. I drove home and grabbed like a chicken sandwich and a double Whopper.
It's dirty as shit that we don't get any of these Burger King. Like Burger King's doing so many anime collabs everywhere. We'll see.
Didn't they have a One Piece one?
They had a One Piece one. They had a Naruto one. They had all these huge ones. Fuck, you can bring them here.
Do you remember the Dragon Ball one from when we were kids?
No, I don't.
Oh, maybe you're. I mean, how much younger are you again? 4 years? 5
years? Something like that.
Yeah, I remember. I think I was like in grade 3 or 4.
Yeah, I would have.
And it had a dragon. It was right after the Frieza saga. And they had these little figurines, and there was like a golden Frieza and a golden Goku.
I was gonna say golden Frieza. Whoa, someone's foreshadowing. Someone's foreshadowing.
Yeah, I can't remember if the Frieza was golden or just silver.
Oh, also we lost Naruto. Naruto died.
What happened to him?
That Miria
Chewed him up.
He fell off. She got in. He lost a leg. I would have kept it. I'm gonna have to get a new one.
That's why I don't watch Naruto. He lost that easy.
Actually,
Goku wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe would have. A beast pretty much the size of an island in comparison. But yeah, I'll have to get a new one. If it was the arm, I would have kept it because he loses later anyway. So, but
that was all over.
Oh, it's a leg. Done.
The leg's done. I can't.
And I guess I'll have it downstairs. I'll show you.
Cool. Well, that concludes our episode, guys. Let us know if you have any other recommendations of things we should cover.
And if you know what that anime or the manga I was referring to is, let us know 100%. Next week we talk Gundam.